Commander Vesh stood at the viewport of the warship Crimson Talon, watching the small blue planet rotate lazily below. A smirk played across his mandibles. Earth. What a joke. Heavy world species, he muttered, tapping a claw against the transparent steel. That is what the intel report says. Can you believe it? His second-in-command, Lieutenant Cora, shuffled her four legs nervously. Sir, perhaps we should review the gravity differential one more time before. Before what? Vesh interrupted, his voice dripping with condescension. Before we go down there and show these primitives what real warriors look like. Please. Their planet has 1.0 gravity. 1. My hatchlings train in higher gravity than that. The rest of the bridge crew chittered in amusement. They were Kallithans, proud warriors from a species that had conquered 47 systems. Their home world of Kallith Prime measured a comfortable 0.75 standard gravities. Perfect for speed, agility, and tactical superiority. Prepare the landing party, Vesh ordered, puffing out his chest plates. 20 of our finest. We will meet with their military leaders and accept their surrender personally. Should take, what, an hour? Maybe less if they are smart. Cora hesitated. The human delegate specifically requested we meet at their training facility. Something about demonstrating mutual capabilities? Excellent. Vesh barked out a laugh. I do enjoy a good show before the paperwork. Have you seen the footage of human athletes? They move like they are swimming through mud. Slow. Clumsy. Honestly, I am surprised they even developed space flight. The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere 2 hours later. Vesh and his squad of elite warriors stood in the cargo bay, weapons mag-locked to their armor, confidence radiating from every scale. The landing was smooth. Too smooth, actually. Vesh had expected some turbulence, some sign of the crushing gravity they had been warned about. But no, everything felt fine. The rear hatch opened with a hiss. Bright sunlight streamed in, along with the scent of something green and growing. Vesh stepped forward, ready to make his grand entrance, and immediately stumbled. One of the seven hells. His legs, which had carried him through countless battles, suddenly felt like they were made of stone. Each step required concentration, effort. His breathing quickened as his body struggled to pull air into his lungs against an invisible force trying to squash him flat. Sir? Cora's voice sounded strained. Behind him, the entire landing party had frozen at the ramp's edge, their expressions shifting from confidence to confusion to something approaching panic. It is fine, Vesh gasped, forcing himself down the ramp. Just need a moment to adjust. Perfectly normal. It was not perfectly normal. By the time his boots touched actual earth soil, sweat was pouring down his neck ridges. His primary hearts were hammering. His secondary hearts had kicked in for backup, and they had only walked maybe 10 meters. A human waited for them on the tarmac. Female, if Vesh remembered the briefing correctly. Dark skin, short-cropped hair, wearing some kind of military uniform that looked far too casual for a first contact situation. She was not even standing at attention. Just standing there. Easily. Comfortably. Like gravity was not trying to murder her where she stood. Commander Vesh? The human's voice was cheerful, almost amused. Welcome to Earth. I'm Major Briggs. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Vesh tried to draw himself up to his full height. Failed. Settled for a dignified nod that probably looked more like a wobble. Major, we are honored to be here. Fantastic. Briggs clapped her hands together. The sound made Vesh flinch. We got a full day planned. Tour of the base, some joint exercises, maybe a friendly competition or two. Nothing too strenuous. We'll take it easy on you. Take it easy? Vesh wanted to laugh. Or cry. He was not sure which. That sounds acceptable, he managed. Briggs started walking. Not jogging. Not running. Just walking at what appeared to be a normal, casual pace. Vesh tried to keep up. Behind him, his warriors struggled. He could hear their labored breathing, the scrape of claws on concrete as they fought to maintain their balance. They looked like they were wading through quicksand. So, Briggs said conversationally, hands clasped behind her back as she strolled along, your gravity back home is 0.75 standard, right? Must be nice. Light. Breezy. It is. Adequate, Vesh panted. Yeah, you bet. We are at 1.0 here. Not much difference on paper, right? Just a quarter more pull. She glanced back at his struggling squad, one eyebrow raised. You guys doing okay back there? Need a break? We are fine, Vesh snapped, immediately regretting the energy expenditure. They reached a building. A single-story building. With stairs. Vesh stared at those stairs like they were a death sentence. Briggs bounded up them two at a time. Two at a time. She reached the top, turned, and waited with that same pleasant smile. Coming, Commander? Vesh gripped the railing and pulled. It took Vesh 3 minutes to climb 12 steps. 3 minutes. By the time he reached the top, his vision was blurring at the edges. His legs trembled like a newborn Grak trying to stand for the first time. Behind him, Lieutenant Cora had actually sat down on step 7. Her breathing so ragged it sounded like a broken air filtration unit. Water? Major Briggs offered, holding out a bottle. Vesh snatched it with whatever dignity he had left, which was approximately none. The bottle felt impossibly heavy in his grip. He twisted the cap off and drank, then realized his mistake. The liquid felt like lead pouring down his throat, settling in his stomach like ballast. All right, everyone inside, Briggs announced. We will start with the basics. The basics turned out to be a gym. A human military gym. Full of humans doing human things. Except none of it looked basic. A human male was running on some kind of moving platform. Running. His feet pounded against the surface in a steady rhythm that seemed physically impossible. Another was lifting a metal bar loaded with circular weights, raising it above his head again and again like it weighed nothing. A third was doing something called pull-ups, hauling her entire body weight upward using just her arms. Vesh watched in growing horror. This is our standard morning workout, Briggs explained. Nothing fancy. Just maintenance, really. Keeps everyone in shape. She gestured toward the equipment. Want to try? Perhaps later, Vesh wheezed. A younger human approached, all lean muscle and easy confidence. Major? The obstacle course is ready when they are. Perfect. Thanks, Jackson. Briggs turned to Vesh. How about we skip the gym and head outside? Get some fresh air? Fresh air sounded like a fantastic idea. Anything to get away from watching humans casually defy the laws of physics. The obstacle course was worse. Much worse. It stretched across a field like some kind of torture device designed by sadists. Walls to climb, ropes to swing on, mud pits to crawl through, and humans were running it. Actually running. Laughing and shouting encouragement to each other as they vaulted over barriers and scaled vertical surfaces. Standard infantry training course, Briggs said. Most of our soldiers can complete it in under 8 minutes. Record is 5 minutes, 42 seconds. She looked at Vesh expectantly. You mentioned wanting to demonstrate mutual capabilities? Vesh looked at the course. He looked at his warriors, who were currently sitting in a miserable huddle on the grass. He looked back at Briggs, who was still smiling that pleasant, utterly terrifying smile. I think, he said slowly, there may have been a miscommunication. Oh, Briggs tilted her head. How so? When we said we wanted to discuss terms of alliance. Vesh paused, choosing his words carefully. We may have been slightly premature in our assessment of the strategic situation. You mean you came here expecting us to surrender? Briggs asked. Her smile never wavered. Vesh felt his scales flush dark purple. That is not entirely inaccurate. For a long moment, Briggs said nothing. Then she laughed. Not a mocking laugh. Genuine amusement. Commander, do you know what we call 1.0 gravity? We call it normal. Standard. The baseline. Because we evolved in it. We were born in it. Every single thing we do, from walking to breathing to thinking, we do it while fighting this pull every second of every day. She gestured at the soldiers running the course. These people, they're not special. They are average. This is just Tuesday for them. Vesh wanted to sink into the ground. Now, Briggs continued, her tone shifting to something more businesslike. If you came here looking for allies, that is a different conversation. We could use friends in this part of the galaxy. Partners. Equals. She emphasized that last word. But if you came here expecting easy prey? Well, Commander, I think you can see how that is working out. Lieutenant Cora had managed to stand again. She approached Vesh, her voice barely a whisper. Sir, perhaps we should return to the ship. Regroup. Reassess. It was the smartest thing anyone had said all day. Major Briggs, Vesh said, forcing himself to straighten despite his screaming muscles. I believe we got off on the wrong foot. Or leg. Multiple legs in our case. He paused. Would you be willing to discuss terms of a mutually beneficial partnership? Absolutely, Briggs said brightly. But first lunch. You must be starving after all that walking. We have got a great cafeteria. Only 2 flights of stairs down. Vesh closed his eyes. 2 flights. Of course. Actually, he said weakly, do you deliver? Briggs laughed again and pulled out a communication device. Jackson? Yeah, bring some meals up to conference room B. Our guests need to conserve their strength. She winked at Vesh. We have got a lot to talk about, Commander. And trust me, you're going to want to be sitting down for it. As Vesh limped toward the conference room, supported by 2 of his equally exhausted warriors, he made a mental note. Update the intel reports. Heavy world species did not just mean higher gravity. It meant humans had spent their entire evolutionary history in what amounted to a natural training facility. Every step was resistance training. Every breath was cardio. Every moment was conditioning. They were not slow because they were weak. They were cautious because they were carrying around the strength to crush. And Vesh had just tried to intimidate them. His mandibles clicked in what might have been a laugh or might have been despair. Hard to tell anymore. Behind him, Major Briggs walked easily, effortlessly like she weighed nothing at all. Because in her world, she did this every single day. Welcome to Earth, indeed.